I am Reverend T, and I am the unrefined priest. I got a really good video for you today. We're going to be looking at Megyn Kelly talking about faith and her experience in the Episcopal Church. So this is a brand new channel. This is only our second video. So if you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We would love to create a community here. So let's get right into this. There are two parts of this video. This video has haunted me ever since I've seen it. I am an Episcopal priest, and so this video really hits home for me. So this is Megyn Kelly, and she's going to be talking to a Roman Catholic priest. I'm not interested in what he says. I am particularly interested in what she says. She's going to be breaking down her faith, her journey, and then she's going to go into her experience in an Episcopal church. So let me play the clip for you real quick. There's two clips I want to play. So I'll play the one clip, and then I'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll jump into the other clip. So let's jump right into this.
Can give me some guidance. I have been going through the process of getting an annulment of my first marriage. I've been married to Doug now for, 16 years. We just celebrated our wedding anniversary. But I never annulled my first marriage to my first husband, with whom I am still very friendly. He's a great guy, just didn't work out. And he and I agreed, he's Catholic too, that we would try to get an annulment, and he would marry, I would get married to Doug in a church, and you know how that works. I'm not technically allowed to receive absolution and confession until I do this, and so on and so forth. Well, I've been doing it. I'm going through the process, and my priest is helping me. And I have to tell you, instead of like renewing my faith or leading me on a journey where I would feel closer to God and embrace things like Good Friday and Lent and Easter, it's been driving me in a different direction. I didn't even observe Lent this year. I did not go to church on Ash Wednesday. I'm feeling kind of emotional just talking about it. And it's been like the in-your-face interjection of man in between your relationship with God that is getting to me. As I fill out these forms, it's not my priest, I want to make that clear. I really care about my priest, and he's been wonderful. But I'm submitting these forms about my first marriage to whom? Who are these people who get to review my personal private details and pass a judgment on my marriage, And I went to my cardiologist recently, because I go once a year. He's a Jewish man. He tried to recruit me, Bishop. He said, in Judaism, we don't have any, there's no interloper. It's just you and God. And
all right, so that's the first clip. So what I wanted you to see is you've got a woman here who is struggling. She's struggling in her faith. She's struggling with the church, and she's trying to figure out, why is the church setting up barriers for me? And these barriers don't seem to be set up by God. They seem to be man-made barriers. And they are actually preventing her from entering into full inclusion into the Roman Catholic Church. I assume she cannot receive communion. She's having trouble with confession, absolution. This is a problem. It would be a problem for anybody. If you're invited into the church, but you can't actually participate in the most sacred moments of the church, then what are you being invited into? And this is what she's struggling with. And she's struggling with it very openly. I got to commend her. I mean, that's bold. It's bold to have a Roman Catholic priest sitting there saying, who are these men that are keeping me out? Who are these men that are going to be judging my life? And it's a real issue. Like, In the Protestant church, we don't have anything like that. In the Jewish tradition, as she brings up, we don't have anything like that. It's only in the Roman Catholic Church where you have these barriers set up from something that you did 15, 16 years ago. So 15, 16 years ago, she gets a divorce. Now she's still paying the price for that. She's still got to deal with all the baggage of that because she can't enter into the church. Not fully, at least. And so this is what she's bringing up. Now, the next clip is where it really gets interesting, because Megyn Kelly's going to tell you what she did about this. And what she did about this was she visited an Episcopal church, and she breaks that down, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for me from an Episcopal priest standpoint. From a Roman Catholic priest, they probably absolutely love this. But let me play the clip for you, and we'll jump right in. It is, I got to move this ahead. All right, here we go.
Did you know that some of the biggest market moves, actually most of the biggest market moves, actually happen?
Here we go.
Of hope that I had in my own faith and my Catholicism. So feeling somewhat disaffected, but also missing like mass and my rituals and just, the way you feel when you take the sacrament. I'm going to confess something to you, Father. I went to an Episcopalian church. I gave it a try. I'm like, you know what? It's kind of Catholic light. Maybe I'll feel something here. And I sat down, and within 2 minutes, first of all, we had a female priest, which, that's a lot. That's a big change from the way we do it in the Catholic Church. And I said, okay, it's fine. I can forge through that. And then everything was set up differently. The priest came down into the aisle and was sort of preaching from the aisle. I'm like, what's she doing over there? Okay, fine. The congregation turned. Okay, we're turning now. I don't know what's happening. In the Catholic Church, I know what the rituals are. They hadn't updated the Mass. We weren't saying, and with your spirit. We were still saying, and also with you. Little things where you're like, okay, it's off. It doesn't feel right. And then her whole homily was about the trans issue and how we need to be much more accepting of trans kids, which I don't believe is a real thing. I think that's really not what's happening to these kids. They're being pushed with social agendas that probably in 99% of the cases don't match up. And I think it's actually quite abusive. And when she went on, and honestly, Bishop, I got up and I got right out of there after the homily. And I thought, okay, this is not for me. And there's a reason I'm generally drawn more to the faith with which I was raised, where there are these strict rules that sometimes feel weird and intrusive, but resonate with me, from birth.
All right. Couple things I want to say about this. First of all, this conversation gets me right here. This is insane. First of all, I hate the phrase Catholic light. Look, we are Anglicans and we are nobody's light. So do not refer to us as Catholic light. We are not light anything. We are Anglicans. We are our own people, and with our own identity, our own history, our own theology, and it's absolutely amazing. But even Episcopalians say that all the time. Drives me nuts. Just one of my pet peeves. But the thing I wanted to bring up is, look, this is a big step for Megyn Kelly. This is a big step for anybody who is Roman Catholic who is going to make the transition into an Episcopal church. Look, there's a couple things she's willing to do here that I love. First of all, she's willing to try a Protestant church. I'm sure the Protestant church does not have a great reputation among Roman Catholics, but she's willing to push beyond that and go to a Protestant church. I love that. Second thing, she shows up. There's a female priest there, not something she's accustomed to, but she even said, okay, let's see. She's willing to accept new things, a new female priest. Okay, let's see. So there's that. The next thing, things don't always line up with the Roman Catholic Church. The liturgy's a little bit different. The movements are different. But what's her response? Her response is, okay, let's go with it. I love all of this. There's an openness, a willingness to learn, a willingness to experience new things. This is all great. And then you get to the sermon. And the sermon, she refers to it as a homily, but it's the same thing. The sermon is all on transsexual rights. Okay. This is the part that breaks my heart. Because Megyn Kelly is willing to accept a variety of differences. Protestant, woman priest, different liturgy. What she's not willing to accept is removing the gospel from the church. And I commend her for that. Walking out of that church is exactly what I would have done. This is absolute. How many people have been in her same shoes where they've gotten to the point in their life where they're thinking, let's try church. And they choose a church, and it's an Episcopal church, and they go there hoping to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. And what they get instead is a lecture on trans rights. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how the church got so disinterested in the gospel, so disinterested that we will focus on anything else. That priest had the opportunity to bring the gospel to Megyn Kelly. Instead, they decided to talk about something else. And as a result, she walked out. And like I said before, rightfully so. The gospel is what we proclaim in the church. That is what you expect to hear. If you are going to churches that have no interest in preaching the gospel, run away. Run away as fast as you can. And Megyn Kelly's going to run back to the Roman Catholic Church, and I bet she will never step foot in an Episcopal church again. And I don't blame her. But as an Episcopal priest, this absolutely breaks my heart. We had an opportunity. You had an opportunity to welcome a Roman Catholic into the Episcopal Church. And the reason I think that's such an opportunity is because she is not able to participate fully in the life of the Roman Catholic Church. You had an opportunity to bring her in for full participation in the church. And we chose trans rights over proclaiming the gospel. I just don't get it. I mean, I like Megyn Kelly. There's some things I like. There's some things I disagree with. It's not really about Megyn Kelly. This is about all of the people who are coming into the Episcopal Church and not finding the gospel, but finding anything other than the gospel. This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable as Christians. It's unacceptable as a priest in the Episcopal Church. I'm just dumbfounded by this. I don't know why we've made this decision, but it probably is part of the reason that we are the fastest shrinking denomination in the world. Because we've lost the gospel. It is time for the Episcopal Church to pick that gospel back up, to proclaim it boldly, and to stand on that gospel. I don't know if we're going to do it, but this video breaks my heart because I know she's not the only one. I know that this is taking place every Sunday at churches across the United States, and particularly in the Episcopal Church. That's what I got for you. Again, my name is Reverend T. I am the unrefined priest. hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like what we're doing, and I will catch you on the next one.
Turn it on.